Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now we're getting busy. What is this? That's right, the local leg panel. What do you think this one says? The green color is ProfiNet.
ProfiNet.
It's really Ethernet, Industrial Ethernet. But this is one of the connections. If you look closely, you'll see the 2 ports, right? If these ports were swapped by the green color cable, you would get an alarm at the control saying that the network is not, the topology is the word, is not correct. Okay. Next one is the PLC. That's the actual PLC for leg panel. If you notice, it's different than the PLC for the grandfather. This is more like father, right? The third box is a little, it's an MCC card. It's like an SD card. Don't press the little button while it's on. If that card comes out of there while it's on, it'll corrupt the card and that PLC dies. You don't have to go check the card. Like if you're wondering what's wrong with the system, if everything's happy and all the green colors are here, if this PLC's got all green color, it's happy. This next arrow here, this is the I/O section. In the PLC system, all of the switches, all of the transducers, anything that's happening in the outside world that we need to monitor or study comes into us, and the information coming in goes into the PLC, and then some of the information coming in is 4 to 20 analog signals like pressure transducers and things of that nature. All of this comes in to here, gets processed and shared with the whole system so that everybody knows what's happening. And this is where it all comes into. So this is all the I/O section. Now we're going to jump on this side and go to the third box. This red light. This white guy right here is not an I/O card. He's actually a power card, like a little power card. And he has the ability to turn on and off. So what happens, what we did was, we tell the PLC to physically take one of the outputs right into this power guy. We turn him off. Guess what he runs? The brakes. You ain't doing nothing than brakes, unless you got system ready and a bunch of other permissions. So this red light means he's off. So this is a secondary safety for the brakes. So these 2 modules run the brake solenoid. Now these guys run the variable speed solenoid. I do not manage that power. So if these guys explode or something happens or some short circuit happens and these circuit breakers, they don't work or something and we fry this, the only thing we fried was the variable speed. We didn't hurt nothing else. We didn't break the brakes, we didn't break the system, we didn't hurt the analog inputs, we didn't blow up all the transducers. So this is all protectionary stuff for the, what I call the dangerous stuff. Solenoids are dangerous. I mean, it's a call-up wire. Anything can happen to it. Doesn't, but it can. So these 2 are for variable speed, these 2 are for brakes, and that power line is modulatable, so we can make sure the brakes never come on. The other are switches. They're controlled by the PLC. When they're on, the brake solenoids fire. When they're off, the brake solenoids will not fire. 2 on HPU A, 2 on HPU B. That's it. This box here, those are the individual circuit breakers for the brake solenoid and the variable speed solenoid. First 2 are brake, second 2 are variable speed. Okay, now, this box, you also know about this box. It is an AC incoming power circuit breaker. Now also, whenever we build a panel, this area is the only place we have AC. We're not mixing. So at ETO, somebody's in there measuring for DC problem, and there's some random AC somewhere. No, we keep it all in one spot. This is what that comes from the transfer panel, remember? So when we send out those 5 things from the transfer panel, one of them comes here. Does that look familiar? You've seen this already.
Those junction, whatever they call
the
it.
The HPU J box is exactly same right here. So this is HPU J box because it's wire for wire. So the same drawing that you have for the HPU J box is right here also. Okay, the second to last guy points to these 2 control relays. This guy is the infamous trigger. So this should say trigger relay. If you remember, when we did the PP, and we had to draw it up, we had 4 little 2-terminal things that was sending out to the leg panels. It's a small voltage that comes here, and when this guy makes, then big 6 and big 7 turn on. Now the panel's ready to go. So the way the electrical works to get the panels to wake up, okay, you turn on the key, the transfer panel does its thing, everybody's happy, and we send voltage down, and they come down to this relay. This relay turns on, and big 4 and big 5, which come from the same setup that the pilot house panel has, and the trigger relay turns on and makes 6 and 7 come on. And that's how it works. So this is the trigger relay. This here is emergency jacking system power distribution. The arrow points right here, but it's this whole section right here. Everything left of the circuit breakers is AC power emergency distribution. I'll tell you what it does, real quick. So if for some reason the power is completely dead up here, and you have 690 to a given leg, on the emergency panel, we can make it so that we can take the 690 from that double control transformer, switch it, and use the 690 from that motor starter to the controls, jack the boat. And upstairs is finished. It's 100% independent of anything upstairs. Now you don't have all the fancy control, but you have emergency control and all the power you want. Okay, everybody should know what this box is. This is where the CANbus comes in and goes out. Red color CANbus. So the CANbus is coming from another leg, goes in, and it goes up. We're about to talk about this here. This box here, pump controller 50-pin interface. This is a really important thing. So the CANbus comes in, and it goes up into this 50-pin controller, does its thing, and come back out and goes to the next leg. Okay. We know this is not the end, because if it was, they'd have a resistor sitting right here, which we're going to. We'll look at that resistor. Okay. This guy, number 2 box, the pump controller. He has 2 CANbus networks inside of him. CANbus 0, CANbus 1. So we use CANbus 0 to talk to the boat, everyday duty. But we use CANbus 1 to talk to the emergency jacking panel only. So he could never die. He's his own private little world. We actually built it to make sure that that leg is 100% self-sufficient, self-contained. So this top box, by the way, is spare pump controller. It's such an important piece that we ship it with a pre-programmed spare for you. So we can plug in here, and I can talk to the pump controller or any other pump controller on the system, or I can plug into his next door neighbor and talk to the emergency jacking panel if the power's turned on.
Is the spare pump controller connected to the system?
No. That comes off by finger, take the cover off, take this guy out, put him in here. Finish.
Do we have 4 spare controllers?
Yeah. 1 in each panel. This is identical. All are identical. All 4 leg panels are exactly the same, including the program. Which brings us to another thing I forgot about. You see here, we have the 2 ProfiNet, correct? And there's a hole here. That's so I can plug in and talk to the ProfiNet, right here. So I have 3 holes, but only use 2, so I have an open hole to talk to. I can plug my computer and talk to the whole boat from right here. On the ProfiNet. On the ProfiBus, if you see the ProfiBus connector, there's a DB9 on the back, we call it the piggyback. I can talk to the ProfiBus. And I can come in here, and I can also talk to the CANbus. This box right here, we're gonna have one thing only. It's gonna say, motor starter, ProfiBus missing. The reason I chose this like this is because here we have red color, and here we have no red color. This is an example of if you are at the controls and you don't have voltage indication, You don't have current indication. There's no communication from the motor starters, which use ProfiBus. Remember? If the ProfiBus is missing, like if you turn off the power to one of the motor starters, the ProfiBus will die and you'll get this red color. So as soon as you open up the door and you see this red color, this is no ProfiBus. This is on the PLC. This is the main part of the PLC right here. See the green color coming in from the ProfiNet that we talked about with the ring? So this is something that I want you to remember. You go down there and you don't know what to do, what to look at, why there has no voltage, right? Red color, no, it's probably something with the ProfiBus cabling or something like that.
This training and other videos on this channel are produced to educate the crew and all involved personnel. Feel free to use them in your training sessions.